Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to continue our industry analysis of our portal application, specifically looking at a vendor portal for the healthcare industry. I know the healthcare industry is quite a broad term, all kinds of companies that fall within that classification. We have created portals for various ones, life sciences, service providers, insurance, biotech, manufacturing companies. So really we've covered a wide gamut of customers that all fell within healthcare, and we're going to look at some of their portals a little bit later on. So no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Our agenda for today, first of all, we're going to do a quick analysis of which features seem to be the most popular for this segment. This is hard for us to do, right? Because a given portal could be really, it could involve all kinds of different features for every industry, but we're going to look at the ones that we determine are the most popular for the healthcare industry, again, specific to a vendor portal. From there, we look at a demo. So we have a demo site. We're going to go into this specific functionality and showcase it. And then we look at a customer review of some sample sites, and then leave you with some next steps. Okay, so looking at our various industry classifications of customers across the vendor portal gamut, and we are looking at this one right here, healthcare, right? So the features that seem to be the most popular for them are the financial management aspects, order management, contract management. So could they be interested in other things? Absolutely, but these are the ones that ranked as being the most popular for clients in healthcare. Let's look at what each of those means. So financial management, it could include all kinds of things: viewing, printing of invoices, monitoring of payment statuses, updating ACH information so vendors could get paid, of course, payment details, submission of new AP invoices. So really, you name it, but all things financial oriented. Order management, view, edit, printing of purchase orders, confirming POs, receipts, updating delivery status. So all things in me delivering my POs to my customer, obviously, in this case, coming from my vendor. And that can include also, like, if they have a desire to look into the inventory as well, maybe they have vendor managed inventory, we could provide them access to that too. And lastly, contract management, storage and maintenance of vendor contracts, documents, expiration, renewal, electronic signature capture. So those are the features that we're going to showcase in our demo here. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and switch that over to our demo site. Alrighty, here's our demo site. First and foremost, our portals sit on top of Microsoft SharePoint, right? So the portal is really sitting on a foundation that is provided by a SharePoint extranet. I've enabled external sharing here so I could collaborate with my vendors. I obviously have a demo site here. The look and feel is going to be entirely up to you on how you want to make these look. So there's a lot of flexibility to brand them and obviously include imagery and calls to action that are specific to your vendor portal needs. But let's go ahead and go through this one for a demo's sake. So scrolling down, we have vendor news, right? So in addition to obviously pulling information from various sources like my ERP, application, I could use this portal just for general collaboration with my vendors, right? So if I have given materials that I need to collect them for a security or compliance reason, I could use the portal to achieve that. So if I go into my material data sheets here, you can see they're due, and then I have an ability for them to upload that documentation. So a secure method, they're not emailing it to me. I don't have to worry about filing it. It's coming directly into the portal securely and being classified, of course, to a folder that's designated for my vendor. Data security requirements, the same thing. I'm just showing some office location times just as an example. This details right here, the order management, financial management, and contract management is the bulk of what we're going to be going into. Each of these is involving our portal application and including touch points to an ERP system. So I'm going to skip that for now. I'm going to go over here just to highlight of our next supplier town hall coming up, some upcoming events, and some contact information. And then lastly, down here, you see a conversation board that they could pose questions and I could obviously reply and use the portal for this real-time feedback where they could, collaborate with either me directly or with other vendors if that would be my choice. All right, so let's go into each of these. I'm going to start off first with order management, and I'm going to click on purchase orders. And what is happening when you see that brief working on it is we're actually retrieving this information from the underlying ERP, and it's being filtered for this authenticated vendor. You could see they could update their delivery dates, say, oops, I'm a little ahead of schedule, so we're going to back it up. I could acknowledge this PO, I could update it. That could actually flow directly into my ERP or go for a workflow first that needs to be approved. I could expand, look at line items associated to these guys. I could print. Printing it actually calls the underlying ERP PO report. So you can see that generated a PDF. They could save it, print it, whatever they want to do. But in that way, I no longer have to distribute these POs to them. They could just go generate them on their leisure using the portal to do so. So POs is a very popular one for vendor portals. Let's go ahead and keep going through more options here. Inventory, that gives them the ability to see vendor managed inventory. So maybe I want them to have insight into the inventory that they supply for me. They could drill into this. They could see how much is on hand, how much I've already ordered from them on POs, how much is in transit, things like that. Continuing on, returns, right? Maybe I need to return material to my vendor. I need them to come into these. They could potentially add line items as well as do such things as return reasons, things like that. So I could have them be actively part of the return process and manage that information for me. If I go to invoices, again, these are not customer invoices, these are vendor invoices. So I have to pay them as a customer. My vendor is not going to pay them, but maybe I want to show them the payment status. Maybe I want to show them credit memos that are open on their account. So they could go in here, look at their invoices, how much is approved, how much is outstanding for me to pay. You can see I've also included the ability for them to submit new invoices. So if I click this upload call to action, it's going to have a form here that I'm going to use to ultimately upload the invoice, but I could also capture additional details such as the requesting cost center, invoice ID, PO number, whatever it is I want to collect from my vendor when they submit a new invoice to me. Vendor information. So if I go into this, this is going to be their address details. So I could actively involve my vendor in updating their address if they move or specifying a new email contact, as well as maybe I want to give them the ability to generate their own vendor statement. So I don't have to distribute it to them. They could just click on that and ta-da, they have a statement of all the outstanding invoices that I have for them and those that I've paid. All right, so that's moving through financial. Oh, last one, we have updating ACH information. This could also occur on a form. More often than not, we see it done this way just for security reasons. So here's my Infinity Healthcare Vendor Portal ACH change form. So they could fill out their company details, the new bank, and then just go ahead and submit it. In my case, this will go for an approval process before updating the ERP. And that's it, I think, for financial management. So we've covered order management, we've covered financial management. Now let's go into contracts. So contracts is a fun one. So I'm going to show contracts here from the ERP, and I'm going to show details including an expiration date. And I can include all kinds of details on these contracts, as well as the document associated to it. I could have links to that, but what I'm really highlighting here is their ability to request a renewal of a contract. So they're going to click renew, but renewing a contract with me is just not as easy as, clicking a button. I need to obtain electronic signatures. I need to fill out PDFs. So you can see they received a notification here that they're going to get an email with further information. And you can see I also got that desktop notification because I'm going to go ahead and receive that to my vendor email account. So let me go ahead and go there and go to my email. So what you could see here is, I apologize, wrong one. So this is it. They got a DocuSign. So what we've done with the workflow is we integrated with a DocuSign template, and they got a form with a renewal contract that they could fill out electronically. You don't have to use DocuSign. I know it's just a more popular tool, so that's why I chose to do it. And you can see the form they're actually filling out is the DynamicPoint end user license agreement. They could go through this, they could accept it. Upon their acceptance, they could finish it. You know, obviously I passed parameters to that, but they could fill out more details if needed. And then this is now going to go for an internal review. So after the vendor completes the request for a contract, I'm going to send that to a manager to review their work, right? So you can see I got a notification that they've done so, and then I've also received this approval request. So what that did is this request, you can see right at the top of this email, actually integrated with a Power Automate workflow, and now I have an approval action assigned to me. I could click on this link. This is managing it from the email. I may not want to do that, right? Maybe I want to manage these from Teams. So if I open up Teams right here, you'll see I have that same request to this completed form. So they could review all of the details that the vendor supplied. That's gone ahead and been put in a library, of course. And then I could approve or reject it directly from Teams as well. So it's really up to you. You know, you could either do it from the email, or if you'd prefer the Teams interface, you could approve or reject that action from Teams. So I could say this looks good. Upon my submission, this is going to carry forward in my workflow. Carrying forward in my workflow is going to notify the vendor that their contract has been renewed. So you can see I got an email, congratulations, your contract has been renewed. And then the last step in my workflow is it's actually going to update the expiration date. So if I were to go back to my contracts, what you should see is the one that I requested a renewal on now has an expiration date of a year out from today. So basically the terms of our contracts are a year, so they just got a renewal for a year. So that was really it from our demo here. So I think we've covered everything. We've gone through order management, we've gone through financial, we covered contracts, we talk about the other features that SharePoint offers, such as the ability to integrate conversations. So let's go ahead and turn it back to the PowerPoint. So the next item on our agenda was looking at sample portals, vendor portals of real-life customers. Not only real-life customers, but real-life customers in the healthcare industry. And you can see for the sake of their respect to them, we basically blanketed out all of their logos. So we're not showing everyone whose sites these are, just out of respect to our customers. But let's go ahead and look at some of the features that are being used on healthcare companies in our customer base. So we have purchase orders here open for invoicing. We have another one that they featured here awaiting approval. Completed POs, instructions for document submission. You can see they have the ability to onboard new portal users. That's another link that's included on the top. If I look at this supplier portal, we have order information, so they could again drill into those POs and collaborate on details. Order receipts, so they're showing the receipts of the material that has been sent to them by their vendors. They could process change requests, as well as just a document library of all the vendor-specific contracts, terms and conditions, legal documents, etc. And as you can see, there's actually a lot more information available for link here. So order details, receipts, change requests, supplier, library, manuals, links to EDI, etc. All right, so let's close this up. We're right about at time here. So what a portal is not. A portal is not B2C. As you can see, we are collaborating with vendors, who are, of course, other businesses. These are not contractors. These are true organizations. So it's not intended to be, either e-commerce or a B2C communication platform. It's really geared towards B2B vendor relationships. And it's not instant gratification. There's a lot of thought that goes into these portals as far as what is it that my vendors are interested in seeing. Where is that information coming from? Is it in my ERP? Is it clean? Is it in a status that's ready to be shared, on a online portal with my vendors, or do I need to do some cleanup there? So there is some thought that goes into preparing these and making sure that they are impactful and, of course, useful to my vendors. Because ultimately, I want my vendors to use it, and I want to save costs, that they're getting the information that they need on a 24/7 self-service basis and not having to contact me constantly for this information. It is a portal right for me. So again, B2B relationship is key. Is that collaboration needed? If my vendor relationships are super easy, they just send me stuff, I pay them, there's really no need to go back and forth, or, after I pay them by credit card, there's no invoice, there's no aging, then, they're probably not going to care enough to go to a portal. But if that collaboration is necessary, I have a lot of open orders with them, I want them to be involved and see the status of those. I maybe want them to update things like delivery dates and print their own POs and see their invoices and see their contracts and terms and conditions. Then a portal offers a lot of value, because that communication and that collaboration becomes a lot of work, which could all be automated with a portal. And then long-term vendor relationships, right? If I just buy something from this vendor and I never talk to them again, yeah, it's a lot of work to, share a portal with them and whatever else, because it's only a one and done type thing. But if that ongoing relationship continues over time, then, I'm really going to get my value out of this tool and offering this to them. So where do we go from here? Maybe a little further reading. I could share with you some Microsoft documentation on building SharePoint portals, SharePoint as an extranet, as well as to our portal page. We have all kinds of more videos that you can take a look at, as well as other information. And then, some just general reflection. Do you guys use Office 365? Would your business benefit from offering a portal to your vendors? Is this collaboration, a painful process? Is onboarding a painful process? That's something else that we could automate quite extensively, is vendor onboarding. So just some thoughts of what really goes into your vendor collaboration and how much of that could be automated using a Office 365 SharePoint portal. So that was all we had for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your day. Bye now.